NFC West. Very specific.
Kind of brings us right into tonight's game, doesn't it? It really does.
I love it. My favorite part is that you guys take it very seriously. It is very competitive. You guys don't even really talk to each other before, and there's lots of secrets, and I cannot wait. Time for the lead block. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yes, Thursday night football. It's all going down tonight. A battle for first place in the NFC West. Cardinals Seahawks at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You can see it right here on NFL Network, on Fox, and of course streaming on Prime Video with lots of different options. Let's start with our guy, Steve Weiss. He has the latest from outside CenturyLink Field.
The Seahawks could be getting some huge relief for their offense Thursday night when tailback Carlos Hyde, who's missed the past few games with a hamstring injury. Now the injuries at running back with Hyde and Chris Carson have really hurt the Seahawks if they become pass happy, throwing an average of 41 times per game. But what else Hyde can help in is with pass protection. With all of the injuries on the offensive line and the moving parts, they've been having difficulty with blitz pickup. That's coming from the coaches and for quarterback Russell Wilson, who said they've got to clean up a lot of what's been going on. Now, I spoke against a coach who has played against the Seahawks and studied film against them, and they said teams have noticed some of these weaknesses that they've had in communication and picking up blitzes. And if you've noticed over the past 4 games, teams are blitzing Seattle at a very high rate. Now, Wilson is very good against the blitz, but this is going to be a situation against a Cardinals defense which got to him and harassed him a little bit in Week 7. See if they can hold him off again.
Thank you so much, Steve Weiss. Every morning we get here to work, we have to take our temperature. I feel like I've been taking the guys' temperature on the Seahawks team every day this week leading into this matchup against the Cardinals. The Seahawks have lost 3 of their last 4. Nobody at the table seems to be selling on them just yet, but there is some doubts here that they can win the whole shebang. Would tonight and a win put the Seahawks back in the Super Bowl conversation, Nate?
They never left the Super Bowl conversation for me. When you have Russell Wilson, you have a chance.
That's your temp, 98.6?
Speaking of checking temperatures, he's as cool as ever. Do you see Russell Wilson panicking? Do you see him panic on the sideline? Do you see him tweeting all kind of crazy stuff? No. Just look at the play by this guy. I know you're saying, well, Nate, he has some uncharacteristic interceptions. He doesn't look like the same. He was hot in the beginning of the season. He's kind of trailing off from that. Okay, fine. There's a little bit of a dip in the middle of the season, but the most important games, the most important months are coming along right now, November and December. So for me, I never thought that Russell Wilson should be left out of the Super Bowl conversation because he has everything he needs. Decent offensive line, good running backs, wide receiver play is good. The defense, yes, they've been horrible. Let me say that again. They've been horrible. But the good thing is they have a ton of time to fix it. They should still be in everybody's conversation when it comes to the Super Bowl.
It's rare to hear, Nate, you say that something is horrible because you usually are pretty uplifting and constructive.
Yeah, keep it around.
And I think you said it twice, and I think you undersold it. I think that's how bad the defense has been. I need to see a wild defensive renaissance tonight and for the next month for them to be a Super Bowl contender. Not playoff, Super Bowl. And I think specifically it's fascinating to look at Jamal Adams right now. The backstory here, he came on the show as he was coming to the league, and we all loved him. Super charismatic, great player, dynamic as hell. He's been talking this week. He's been talking about what he experienced with the Jets, and he had a lot to say. He had to say the Jets, they don't want to win. Now with Seattle, this is how the NFL's supposed to be. This is the dream I was dreaming. The Jets were a laughingstock. Jamal, I got to tell you, the Jets are playing much better defense than the Seattle Seahawks are right now. I think LSU might be playing better defense than the Seattle Seahawks are right now. And the laughingstock is the defense you're supposed to be the crown jewel of, and we're seeing it right here, and we're going to see it on national television. So we love you, and I'm rooting for you, and I think you're great. But this is the dream you dreamed of, losing 4 out of 5 games and falling out of the NFC playoff race? No. You got to do more, man. This is your dream. This is you scorched earth. Congratulations. You got out of New York. I don't begrudge you at all. Business is business. Are you doing any better now? Are you going to win more playoff games than the New York Jets did this year? I don't know if you are. Do something about it, dude. We're rooting for you, but don't go where we can't follow. Big night tonight for you.
Yeah, that's a strong take on Jamal Adams, but it's the entire defense. You know, they're also playing without their 2 starting corners tonight. Shaq Griffin and Quentin Dunbar are both going to be out, so now we're down to Trey Flowers and DJ Reed, who are going to be starting in their place. So now you have the worst historic pass defense without their 2 best corners, which I don't know what to tell you. So, Nate, I love your optimism in this, blind faith in Russell Wilson, and it's all real. I feel the same way. I would never want to face Russell Wilson in a close game. I also would say, if not now, when? Like, they're just suddenly going to turn it on, the defense? You're like, I think it can still be addressed, and they can still change it. It's still early. November, December. All right, well, now, look at the numbers, first of all, just how historically bad it is. This is last in the league, and that bottom thing right there, it's the worst in the Super Bowl era. Worse, so that means you've got Kyler, DeAndre, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, and Cliff Kingsbury dialing up an offense. You're saying blind faith. It must be really blind faith to say they're going to figure it out tonight. I don't see it changing. They didn't fire Ken Norton. I'm never one to say fire the coach, but there hasn't been an adjustment with the coaching staff. They tried bringing in other players. It hasn't worked. This thing is a mess. Russell Wilson, I have all the faith in the world. He could put up 45 points tonight. I believe it. He could put up 45 points there. I'm not so certain this defense can hold a team under 46.
The Cardinals, are they going to score at will, Triggs?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be just in their building, which will be the
I'll say this, the running backs, too. Like you're saying they're great running backs. They haven't had Chris Carson, guys. They were 5-0 when Chris Carson was healthy. We're 1-3 since then. He didn't practice yesterday. Well, I'm sure we'll have Ian and Mike Garafolo and Tom Pelissero talking about it all day. He's questionable. It might be Carlos Hyde. It might be Alex Collins. I need them to go stop by the gas station on the way to the stadium, get some Skittles, and put on their best Marshawn Lynch tonight because I would like to see a more balanced offense.
Yeah, and it's odd because DJ Dallas came in and was getting in the end zone. So it's not necessarily the running game that isn't working. It's more about the defense. And, yeah, maybe it is Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, blind faith. Well, not Stevie because I believe Stevie can actually
that's one of your best.
Maybe that's it.
It's a take. But, you know, when you say, Nate, November, December, it's damn near Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
How long do you want us to wait for the Seattle Seahawks? I'm going to keep on waiting until they're mathematically out of it because history tells us that, one, they will be in the playoffs. And I just hope by the time December comes around, this offense that is way too talented on paper starts to get it together.
Love it. I cannot wait to see Bobby Wagner up against Kyler Murray and see if he can stop some of what he's done on the ground as well. Okay, it's tonight. It's Kyler Murray, and the Cardinals are so excited about it. Big primetime win. They need one to stay on top of the NFC West. While Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, they want to bounce back on their home field. It's Cardinals and Seahawks Thursday Night Football tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That, of course, on Fox, on NFL Network right here, and on Amazon Prime Video. Let's bring in Tom Pelissero this morning. Tom, thanks for joining us, and happy game day. Big one tonight in the NFC West. But let's get an update on a couple of injured quarterbacks. What's the latest with Drew Brees, and how about Andy Dalton?
Okay, there's no firm timetable at this point on Saints quarterback Drew Brees, but the expectation is he is going to miss a minimum of 2 weeks because of the injury that he suffered last week. He's got multiple cracked ribs as well as a punctured lung. And remember, Brees was already dealing with a right shoulder injury coming into that game. Obviously, he did not practice yesterday. It is Jameis Winston who is in line to start beginning on Sunday against the Falcons, with Taysom Hill mixing in as Taysom Hill always.
you.